Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 19th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you had a good Tuesday, if you will. Mine was overall good. From the macro, it was great. A solid Tuesday. In the micro, we had some bumps, we had some bruises, a little bit of turbulence. I'll try to cover what I want to here as I went through all my day. So, we wake up, we get started, get ourselves together, we get ourselves to work. One problem right off the bat was there has been construction on my route to work, which was annoying. So I had to take another roundabout way to get to work, and I was like a few minutes late because of that. On top of that, they were like working on the blacktop at work at the parking lot. So, I had to park further out again. This is the second day that happened. And I was like, man, this is a little annoying, but whatever, we move. I get started on the day. I want to say maybe an hour or two in. My lead comes down. Not my lead, I should say. Actually, no, let me be very specific. It was not my lead. This was a topsider lead, which I've discussed what a topsider is. I'm not going to go into that. But essentially, they came down and they did this passive aggressive thing that really it put me back into my asshole headspace. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just had to grit my teeth and try to be nice, but I can feel the mood changing, the vibe changing between this lead and I, because it came down and they asked this indirect passive aggressive fucking question of, hey, is the other compactor down? Is there something wrong with it again? And they had asked this before, the day before, and I told them there's nothing wrong with the compactor. That was last week. That's old stuff. What are you talking about? But they're like, oh, well, I was just curious because there are these trash buggies over there and they aren't getting done. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing the cardboard. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. That is my main goal. And the thing that really annoys me here is that this person's coming down because they want something done. They have a mandate either from their supervisor or someone's coming to them to complain about it. So now they're coming to me to make it my problem officially. But at the end of the day, despite the fact that they say, hey, if you need anything, hey, don't hesitate to ask, da 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 da. If I ask for help, they give me nothing. They give me absolutely nothing every time I've asked. So if I do need the help, I just have to hope and pray I get lucky and they give me somebody. Or I just fucking make do. So that's what I do. I make do, and I focus on what I know is most important. I prioritize. And at the end of the day, those compost, composite, whatever trash is not as important as the cardboard. They get very upset and they're very unhappy if they have to surf around on cardboard boxes because they cannot come downstairs because they cannot get new buggies. So I know what's important. I know what's fucking priority. And that really bugged me that instead of just asking me directly, they try to do this roundabout way of getting me to do something. But I smile through it because I don't want to switch back. I don't want to revert back to being mean. And I'm hoping that this is just going to stop before it gets busier. Because if this is what's going to continue on when we hit peak, I already know I'm going to switch back to the old me. And it's going to be, I don't want to be nasty. I want to wind up in HR. And also, this is a very frustrating thing. Because every time I have this conversation with the lead or supervisor, there is a power dynamic that is just not fair in that conversation. So as much as I want to be real and direct with you, I cannot because you're just not going to hear me out. You're just going to tell me what to do, and I have to do it. I know the score. So in this situation, I said, okay, I'll go ahead and cut out and do a couple of trash buggies. That was enough for them. But I'm already like, you're souring my day. Don't like that. Also, I realized that yesterday was also busy. I was just kind of happy to be back in the swing of things in a normal sense that I kind of didn't really notice because today was also busy and I did notice and I was getting kind of flustered about it. But, overall we held frame. It was more or less, I think, that situation that really queued it up for me. That I'm like, oh, we actually are busy, or at least I'm busy and I have to deal with it. So awesome. Love that for me. But really outside of that, work was fine. Post work, we, of course, we go to the gym, we get our pump on. This is where I have another run in. Grug Gramps, another known character in our lexicon, in our, gaggle of heroes and villains. That's a villain. I'm walking like out of the locker room, and he's doing this fucking thing where he's hawking everything about like everything in the gym. He's being hyper observant except for what's in front of his fucking face. And I'm already on 10 for some other stuff that I'm going to get into. But I kind of like, walk out around. I almost bump into him, or he almost bumps into me, I should say. And I go, watch out. Which I'm like, that's a little spicy. That's unnecessary. But he didn't say anything back, so he took it in stride. Maybe he went and complained and blew up some steam in the locker room. Whatever. Good for him. And his bushy ass fucking overdyed eyebrows. But like at the end of the day, man, don't fucking get in my way, bro. Like for someone who like demands so much fucking respect out of Planet Goddamn Fitness, it's crazy how he just throws himself around like willy-nilly, not giving a fuck. Fuck that shit. I'm not in the mood. I've been in this gym for too damn long, and I'm putting way too many hours in to have to fucking deal with any of that shit. No way. Ring the alarm. I don't give a damn. Anyway, outside of that, everything was good at the gym. We didn't get the Smith machine, but I got good substitutions in, so that felt good. Overall, it was a good pump, so that was like a highlight of my day. Now let's just get to the thing that I think really sent me over the edge. Because believe it or not, it wasn't the conversation with the lead. It wasn't the fucking, moment with Grug Grandpa. It was, yet again, a classic trope, a classic problem for your boy. Me versus the internet, or people on the goddamn internet. Like people who I'm trying to be friends with, have conversations with, get to know, get better enrichment from, and give. Like, it's that shit, man. And really, if I was just going to summarize the main crux of my problem here, is misery loves company. And I'm not trying to be with that fucking shit because I'm not trying to be goddamn miserable. So I hate when I'm trying to like talk to someone, communicate with someone, reach out, grow, build, whatever, link and build, fam. And they just want to every day talk about how cranky they are, talk about how unfair the world is, blah, 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 blah. And then on top of it, and this is maybe me getting a little too personal, maybe I'm bearing a little bit too much here, getting a little bit too real, but I hate, and I don't care if you are a man, woman, someone in between, it doesn't matter. Don't try to sit here and make everything about how like it's a gendered issue and it's always a gendered issue and men are so bad or women are so bad, blah, 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 blah. And you're aiming it at me as if I'm supposed to be the one fielding all of that, as if I'm the Atlas who can help you in any way, shape, or form. Like, or if this is your sense of humor and I'm supposed to be laughing at it. Like, that is so draining for me. Like I was trying to feel this at like the top of my day, and I realized as I'm talking to this person, this is going to be the low light of my day. Like I'm going to have a good day and I'm going to look back at it and I'm going to be like, you were the reason. And I can't do that because at the end of the day, I'm doing the same thing that other people do, which is saying, hey, I'm making you the reason for my problem. You're the issue. And it's like, no, man, it's me. I am fielding these kind of people. I don't want to be miserable, so why am I entertaining you? Like, I don't need to do that shit. So by the time I got to the gym and I was done with my soul searching, I immediately went into like just kind of damage control mode. And I added some icing to this goddamn shit cake on top of it. Because I was like, you're gone. I'm deleting you off of my fucking pages. You're gone. Deleted. Goodbye. Exile. And then I just did that with like other people I've like had a grudge with over the past, like, I don't know, few months or a year. So it was like about 3 or 4 people. And it's like, that's not really fair. You know, at the end of the day, is that the most mature thing to do? No, you could easily maybe hash these things out or just get over it. It's not that big a deal. Technically, you already were. But I was like, no. This little demon wants his pound of flesh. That's where I was at. I was mad and I wanted the satisfaction, my dear listeners. So, am I the good guy here? Am I the asshole? No, I'm definitely not the good guy. I definitely am the asshole. Toot, toot, beep, beep. I don't care though. Like at the end of the day, I want to protect my fucking peace. I just do. And if you are really going to sit here and just be a negative Nelly every single day, why are you talking to me? Why am I talking to you? Like, this is crazy. Get well, find God, do whatever, but don't bother me, bro. I'm over it. I'm so over it, y'all. So that's where I'm at. I know I'm sounding like I'm getting really worked up because this is my first time like saying this stuff out loud. But like, once again, today was a good day. Everything wound up working out, including myself, pumps bicep. But fun little cool thing that happened. Almost a bad thing. But I was driving home and I think I mentioned that my maintenance light has been flashing. and that's really annoying me. But I've been told, hey, it's okay. It's just telling you that you need to get your oil changed or whatever. And I got my oil changed, so I'm good. The people just didn't reset it. So I'm like, what do I do? How do I get rid of that? Because I don't want to keep seeing that. It's giving me the ick. It's making me uncomfortable. So I quick Googled. I found the little how to, and I was able to reset my maintenance light. So guess what? You're looking at a new motherfucking mechanic, bitch. No, okay. But I did feel very handy, and that was a nice way to kind of close out the day for sure as I got in to do some research and whatnot. So there you go. That's been my day. I know I'm a little bit high strung here. I'm a little bit keyed up, but it just feels good just to get it out and just tell people, yeah, man, sometimes I think people are shitty, and sometimes I just need to be away from them. And also, if, we're talking about anyone else I deleted that I maybe might see in public, because not all these people are far away people, long distance friends or whatever, little pen pals as I like to say, digi pen pals, whatever. Some of these people, yes, they're local yokels. They're people who are let's put friends in quotations. But real shit, why are you pissing me off if we're supposed to be so fucking close, if we're supposed to be fucking homies? Why are you talking to me so fucking sideways? That's crazy, because I would never talk to you that way. That's wild. So let's just keep it at that. If I see you on the street, cool, man. I'll shake your hand. I'll say what's up if you want that. If you don't, that's fine too. Because why am I wasting my time? Why am I wasting my energy to get drained online by you because you wanted to have a hee hee ha ha at my expense? Actually just go fuck yourself, dude. I'm okay on that. So yeah, the North fucking remembers. Anyway. That's been my day. So, Tuesday kind of bit. It kind of was a little shit, but we're here. We're making it happen. Oh, also, I have a leaky faucet, so I'm going to try to talk to my landlord and hope that they don't try to, I don't know, avoid the problem. Hopefully they can fix the shit for me. I don't know, do their job, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. That's where we're at, y'all. Thank you for just listening to that part alone. I don't know. Sometimes the blog is, a bit nasty, but it's good for me to get it out, and I appreciate anyone who listens and is hopefully going to get ready for the startup, so we can kind of relax and get into some news. Oh boy. All right. But really, though, as worked up as I sound, as I might be, I still truly feel like this was a good day, and I'm happy about that. I think that's a mentality that I didn't have a few years ago for sure, and I still, can lack in definitely certain moments, but I am happy that I can kind of not compartmentalize. I'm not that good at it, maybe that's not even healthy, but I'm able to say, hey, this was bad, this was good. Overall, things worked out well. It was a good day. Don't throw the whole day away. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, I feel like that's applicable here. All right. Enough whining and crying. Let's go ahead and talk about some news from CNN. White House says Putin-Zelensky meeting plans are underway following Trump meetings. Okay, I just want to roughly summarize this shit. I don't even really want to get into the breakdown. I really wasn't going to cover it because I still kind of feel like this is a nothing burger post the Alaska Trump-Putin meeting. But Trump, I guess to balance things out, was like, hey, I want to meet with Zelensky. I want to have a conversation with him. So that got set up. And then last minute, a bunch of other European leaders are like, nah, we're coming with you. We're coming with Zelensky. We're coming, we're talking. We're going to have a whole little powwow about this, and we're going to see what we should do. And Trump's like, all right, bet. Come to the Oval or come to the White House. Let's fucking chop it up. And I got to say, to me, that was a bit surprising because this is the most diplomacy I've kind of seen Trump exude since he's been back in office. Actually sitting around a table, with other world leaders, not yelling at them, talking mad shit. It seemed like he initially had a meeting with Zelensky, who also came in through with a black suit, all black. Got some props for that. Got some, I think cheers from the same fucking piece of shit who tried to be like, I can't believe you're in the Oval Office with this outfit, with these pants. Blah. They're like, nice suit, nice shoot. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, ugh. Anyway, so that went well for him. Then they go out to like another meeting area in the White House or whatever, and they're chopping it up. They're saying what they want to do. Quick rundown, because I can't remember all these motherfuckers' names, but the motherfuckers who came through: Emmanuel Macron of France, Friedrich Merz of Germany, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister of Italy, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, Alexander Stubb President of Finland, and then Mark Rutte, NATO Secretary General. So all these big wigs are sitting trying to figure out what to do about Putin, what to do about Russia, what's the next plan. So, I mean, it kind of sounded like they really all want to have an immediate ceasefire before we even continue any more talks. At least that's like a big talk from, a couple of the leaders. Trump has said, look, I've talked to Putin. That's not what he wants. So I don't know what to tell you. But like, I think as they were wrapping up the meeting, Trump like gets on the line with Putin. He goes like to the Oval and he has like a little one-on-one with him, and he's like, yeah, I caught Putin up to speed, which is kind of crazy that he did that like so quickly. Like, it's not surprising, but just really weird that he's like, no, I can get him on the phone, so let me just go ahead and do that real quick. And from what he is saying post that conversation, he's like, look, I think I can get Putin and Zelensky in a room together to talk. So that would be big. Like, that was the bigger takeaway, and people were really upset about, which was like, how are we having a conversation about the fate of Ukraine without Ukraine in the room, right? That makes sense. That's fucking valid, right? But at the end of the day, it kind of is like, well, the people who are deciding the fate of Ukraine are in the room talking about it. Like, yes, Zelensky has like, these stances of like, he's not going to give up any land that was taken, blah, blah. It's literally against the Constitution. Well, it's like, well, what? Do you want to like keep fighting indefinitely? It's like, no, you don't. So at some point we are going to have that conversation. And then it's like, well, then what is Ukraine getting? Which I believe they want like security assurances from, either Europe or America, though America said, look, we are not doing any boots on the ground. Trump has said that. So that leaves the EU to kind of tend that burden potentially of having any kind of boots on the ground. And then we'll see about any kind of armament and equipping of, Ukrainians and stuff in the future. But that being said, obviously the conflict is still continuing. It's still an ongoing thing. And we don't even know if this is real. Like, we really don't. Like, that's why I kind of hesitate to really talk about it. It's something that maybe materializes. Maybe we get a date in the upcoming 2 weeks. But the fact that we had all these big wigs in a room together, I feel like was worth noting. It was worth talking about. Also, I don't know, I was about to say something ableist, but why? Look, I like Zelensky's suit. It's a real cute suit. We got it in the thumbnail. Got everybody all lined up. I'm pretty sure though he might be the second shortest guy in that lineup. And I feel like that's not the power move you want to send. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, size doesn't matter. I mean, shit, Napoleon was like, how tall? So it is what it is, right? But I think the black suit was like almost too slimming. You know that, like how it has the effect of like making things look slim. I almost wonder if it makes him look smaller. Or it's just the fact that everyone is like tall. Like some of these motherfuckers is real tall coming out of Europe. I can't remember either if it's Stubb or if it's Merckx. I think it's Stubb. That motherfucker tall as fuck, bro. I'm pretty sure. He kind of giving Slender Man a little bit. But, I mean, hey, you got Giorgia Meloni. She might be the actual shorty of the group, of these leaders in the lineup. But, I mean, I think even Ursula von der Leyen might be taller than Zelensky. I mean, hey, man, this is just like the dude coming at him for the suit, but, like, I'm not in power. I don't have a microphone in his face. It's in my face, and I'm just talking. I'm just a yapper, all right? And shit, I'm 5'11", so I mean, I too am a short king. I'm not 6 foot, so like, look, I get it. From shorty to a shorty, I'm just saying, maybe switch up the colors, something a little poppy. Maybe, ooh, let's take a cue out of Trump's playbook. Get them special shoes. Get the Ron DeSantis twos, okay? Because that'll make you taller. It'll make you taller, and you don't have that lean like Trump got. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that would be perfect for him next time. Next meeting, but before you see Putin, baby, put on them fucking shoes. Put on the man heels, because you need them. You might want them at least. You know what I mean? Might give you a little bit of a height advantage, against old Putin. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's move on. We got more news. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. An update from the strike on Air Canada, or the Air Canada strike. I feel like if I said it the way I said it before, it sounds like violent, but that's not what it is. It's a strike. It's a normal strike, a union strike. From the Associated Press, Air Canada reaches deal with flight attendant union to end strike as operations will slowly restart. So first off, round of applause. Yay, let's fucking go. I love to see the unions stick in, dig in, and get what they need. You know what I mean? At least get the best deal that they can get in a situation. Because that shit's hard enough as it is, and it only gets harder, I feel like, with time. So props to them up front. Air Canada said it will gradually restart operations after reaching an agreement early on Tuesday with the union for 10,000 flight attendants to end a strike that disrupted the travel plans of hundreds of thousands of travelers. The agreement came after Canada's biggest airline and the union resumed talks late Monday for the first time since the strike began over the weekend, affecting about 130,000 travelers a day at the peak of the summer travel season. Air Canada said flights will start resuming at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Flight attendants walked off the job early Saturday after turning down the airline's request to enter into government-directed arbitration, which allows a third-party mediator to decide the terms of a new contract. I think that was the best call because at the end of the day, you're giving your fate to another party that's probably not going to be in your favor. They're probably just going to give you a bare minimum fucking deal and you don't get what you want, but then you have to get back to work. So it's like, no. You're going to give us something that we as a union are going to say yes to, or we're not going back to work. Fucking period. And I like that. I fuck with that. I don't care if that makes people mad, whether you're in government, whether you're a fucking consumer, you got to get over that shit. Anyway. The union said the agreement will guarantee members pay for work performed while planes are on the ground, resolving one of the major issues that drove the strike. That shit, I always forget about that. Where like a lot of airlines can have these kind of rules or have had these rules over time where if the plane's not in motion, you're not making money. That's insane to me. Like, could you imagine you have a job where you clock in, you're in your fucking uniform, you're working, you're doing work the entire fucking time, but if that work is not while the plane is in the air or while you are servicing a plane, then guess what? You're not getting paid for it. Like, what kind of shit is that? In what realm in 2025 does that make any kind of sense? In what era? What time in history? If I show up on the job ready to work, I fucking punch my card, let's fucking go. You're paying me until I punch my card again, bitch. What the fuck? Like, no. There should be none of this. Like, it's crazy you have to fight tooth and nail just to get this. Like be real. Like, I don't know. So I'm happy they got theirs. You know what I mean? I'll read this quote here. Unpaid work is over. We have reclaimed our voice and our power, the union said in a statement. When our rights were taken away, we stood strong. We fought back, and we secured a tentative agreement that our members can vote on. So hell fucking yeah. So we'll see what comes of it. Hopefully, everything can kind of get back in motion for Air Canada and get back in the air, wheels up, baby. And people can get to their destination because obviously that's what everybody wants, but everybody's got to be able to fucking eat, y'all. That's so important, especially as the times get harder because I'm guaranteeing you they are. So hold on to your goddamn butt. Anyway, let's move along. We have a update. Sad one, but, getting a sentencing, getting a bit of a nail in a coffin, if you will. Almost closing a chapter. It's probably a better terminology there. But yes, from Associated Press. Man convicted of fatally shooting New Jersey pastor, is sentenced to life in prison. A Virginia man convicted of shooting a New Jersey pastor to death outside her home in 2023 was sentenced Monday to life in prison. Excuse me. Rashid Ali Bynum, 31, of Portsmouth, Virginia, appeared in a court. was gonna say country, in a county courtroom in New Brunswick, New Jersey, that was filled with relatives and friends of the victim, Eunice Dwumfor. His lawyer, Michael Ashley, has said an appeal of the murder and weapons convictions is planned. Dwumfor, 30, was ambushed in her vehicle on February 1st, 2023, as she arrived home at an apartment complex in Sayreville, a central New Jersey town where she also served as a council member. She was deeply involved in a Nigerian church, Champions Royal Assembly, and married a fellow church pastor in Abuja weeks before her death. Prosecutors said Bynum had lived with Dwumfor and her child for a time before returning to Sayreville, to the Sayreville home and shooting her 14 times. The motive has not been made clear. Now maybe this is me jumping to conclusions, but like, okay, maybe there was some kind, like they had some kind of relationship. Maybe he was upset to hear about the marriage or something like that and reacted like this, but that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any kind of justification out of anything. So I can completely understand why they're like, look, we don't have the motive and we're not going to say it because that's the Associated Press. They're professionals. They're the pros. I get it. But yeah, that's just me kind of grasping for some kind of semblance of an answer on what could motivate. Because you're not just shooting a person. You're not just like, running up on them, boom, boom. 14 times, it really is saying something. Like, you really are expressing something with that. And it's so sad. You know what I mean? For someone to, lose their mother, lose their family member, you lost your wife, over what? So, yeah. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting a little emotional about that. Byron returned to Virginia after his relationship with the church soured, prosecutor said. A jury convicted Bynum in June after a month-long trial. So yeah, I mean, we'll see about the appeal. I don't think that that's going to work out for him. And dude's probably going to jail for life. And that's going to be that. But yeah, let's move on. We have a recall. And this one, look, I normally am prepared. We cover glass, we cover wood chips, we cover metals, microplastics, macroplastics, all kinds of shit. This had me ready to fall out. And I'll leave it at that. Let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll go ahead and get back and close it out. How's that sound? Ooh. Oh yeah, we needed that. All right. For maybe, wait a second. Not quite. Oi, oi, oi. From ABC News. FDA warns public not to eat possibly radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart. The Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, is warning the public not to eat, sell, or serve certain great value raw frozen shrimp sold at Walmart due to possible contamination with cesium-137, a radioactive isotope. I'm still vexed on how that could have potentially got in there. From what I've kind of gathered, it potentially got in the shrimp via the packaging, like when people, were packaging it at, wherever the building where they were actually handling everything. That's how it got in. But I mean, I'm still like, this feels like something out of like a superhero villain origin story. Like, I ate some radioactive shrimp and now I'm a mutant freak. I'm the super shrimp. Aha! The sea bug! No. U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted the FDA about possible cesium-137 or CS-137 detected in shipping containers. Sorry, it was in the shipping containers. 4 U.S. ports, the FDA said Tuesday in a press release. Testing on frozen shrimp from the distributor Indonesia's BMS Foods also tested positive, FDA said. They do say, though, that no shrimp has tested positive for CS-137 that has entered the U.S. food supply. But that being said, they're still recommending anyone who bought Great Value brand frozen raw shrimp, what was it? It has a Best Buy date of March 15th. March 15th, 2027. Has a whole lot code and da 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 da. But yeah, just definitely a big buyer beware. I don't want anybody to have their little shrimp cocktail and then start glowing or nothing. So, if you got some shrimp, feeling a little like, okay, maybe this Great Value wasn't so great. Maybe it's more like a glowworm. Go ahead and toss that shit. Maybe go, if you got the receipt or whatever, you can try to run it back. Go ahead and get that return, get that exchange, so you can get some non-potentially radioactive shrimp. That would be probably pretty cool. But yeah, I really don't know how. I guess now that I'm saying it out loud and thinking about it, like I guess maybe the shipping container previously was handling something, maybe, and that's how we got here. I guess I'll read this part right here. The FDA said it determined the shrimp from BMS Foods violates the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, and that it appears to have been prepared, packed, or held under insanitary conditions whereby it may have been contaminated with CS-137 and may pose a safety concern. So this is where I was kind of getting a little bit of the fumble up top, because I'm like, no, I do think in some situations it might have been that they actually prepared it in a situation where it could get the cesium-137 in it. Like, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like, no matter where that goes, that's going into a human body. That's the whole purpose. So it's like, that's very scary. It's very unsettling. Like, and we do a lot of recalls. One of the things that it definitely has shown me, I completely get why and I don't want to call them yahoos. I think maybe some people might consider them yahoos. Like, people like, yeah, no, in a perfect world, I would grow all my own food. I would catch all my own food, and like, a place I know is safe. And it's like, well, sorry, dude, like, you can't do it that way. This is not how it works. But like, when you cover so many stories and you see all these stories of like all the food and stuff that we get, and like we buy at a grocery store, or we can order maybe at a like fucking fast food, and it's just like there's no winning. Like, there's always a risk that this is gonna be the thing that takes you out in some gruesome, like, gross way. Like, you're not even gonna get the like Putin polonium like fucking vacation, like literally you're gonna get radioactive fucking shrimp poisoning. Fuck, man. Like, so that's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit scary. Not to be, Roy Ward or anything like that, but, that is why I try to cover these recalls when I see them. Obviously I'm a small little guy, small bean. I'm like under 20 people watch, listen, but like, you gotta ring the alarm sometimes, and just, it helps me be aware of like, hey, whatever I'm buying, if it maybe looks a little weird, maybe like, maybe I ate it and I really didn't feel good, I should be really responsive. I shouldn't just go, oh, I'm gonna tank this, because maybe something is wrong. Maybe, I should be, getting that checked or looked at if there's a moment. I don't know. I'm kind of just ranting here. I'm in the weeds. But that is it. That's all I have for today, this Tuesday. I thank you so much for listening. I know sometimes I go on this rant about how my life is, and, it sounds wild, but look, this is my catharsis, and I really appreciate people being a part of it, Sometimes the daily blog is super fun. Sometimes it's not so much. Sometimes it's somewhere in between. But, hey, you know what they say, boys will do anything but go to therapy. I started a podcast. Anyway, that'll be it. That's all I'm going to have for today for you. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's a free way to help out the effort, at least for like the algorithm's sake. And, if I get so many subscribers one day, maybe I'll be monetized. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be cool? But yes, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you like to listen. Leave a like, leave a comment. Sharing's caring. All the stars is always useful. But truly, I just appreciate the people who like to just tune in and listen to me yap. Even if you tune in just to hear me whine and cry about my day, or you actually here to hear me like fumble through the news to the best of my ability, I appreciate you. Even if you're just a clicker who is just supportive for the 1 minute and bounces. That's dope. You're so cool, and I love you for that. You're the tops, baby. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye bye. Mwah.